Hey, what's up, party people? It's Elena.
And Michelle.
And so last week, Shell was sick, and this week, guess what? We're both sick.
Woo! At least I have a voice again, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we record on Sunday nights, and on Monday, Shell woke up, and her voice was gone. Oh, so these are
beautiful things. What are they?
devil's fruits.
Nice.
From One Piece.
They kind of look like Christmas ornaments.
Aw, they do. Oh, I want some as Christmas ornaments. No, I should get some Christmas ornaments like that for Ryan or Kevin. Or I don't know if Eric's still watching it, but not my sister, though. She's the only sibling of mine who hasn't watched the show.
Who, Elena? That's my sister.
So yeah, I start jamming on it. Each stem is unique in its own little way. So Luffy's is this one right now. It's the rubber fruit.
And there are only 3?
I only did these 3 because I looked at all of them that there were good pictures for online, and I don't know, they were the only ones that spoke to me. They're the only ones that sparked joy. But yeah, rubber fruit, so he can do all his stuff. Although, if you're watching the show Into the Thousands, then you know, like, what? It's actually not the rubber fruit, it's something else, and it's exciting. But you wouldn't know about that because you're not watching the show yet.
You don't usually give me so much grief.
I think now I'm working on the stem for Ace's fruit. He has the flame fruit, so he's self-explanatory.
Oh.
And he died, and then it meant that his fruit could kind of crop up in the world somewhere else then after that point. And it was cray-cray because, like, there was something going on, and, like, Luffy needed to concentrate on something or other, and then the enemy brought Ace's fruit out as in a tournament to serve as a distraction. And Luffy was like, I want it, though. It's Ace's fruit. I have to be the one to win it. So he started participating in that. And, you know, the distraction worked out. He shouldn't have. But then, while Luffy is in the middle of this tournament, in the middle of a break, because it's like a multi-part kind of tournament thing, some shadowy figure comes out. And it's Sabo, the third brother who, had died when they were children, but he didn't die.
Oh, my.
But anyway, Sabo was like, I know you have your own thing to do on this island right now, like, would you be fine with me having Ace's fruit? And Luffy's like, yeah, of course. So now it's like both of his brothers have had this fruit and this power and stuff. So it's just cute. But yeah, this one stem now is going to be for this other character that you don't know. It's this dude, Law, his fruit. Well, I don't know what it's called in English, but from the Japanese name, I think it's just like Operation Fruit. So he's like a doctor, and it creates a kind of space where he can... And I was like, the first time we see him use it, he, like, creates a kind of zone where he can, like, manipulate things around him, and he, like, slices things in the air, and, like, people's limbs fall off, but they're not bleeding. It's just, like, they're off. Like, it's a clean operating room, and he can do whatever he wants in it.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's like he has actual doctor training, and it's like that's the thing, is like that fruit is really only worthwhile to people who do have medical knowledge. And when he was a child, like his parents were doctors, so it's like it was something he was already interested in. So he got this fruit, and he is super adept at using it, whereas other people might not be or would have to study a lot harder. But it's like he had already done a lot of studying. And, like, the whole reason, oh my gosh, let's get into his backstory. So, he had this sickness, like, everyone on his island had this sickness because they were mining a type of mineral that was just making everyone, like, terminally ill, and it presented as, like, white spots of, like, on your skin, but it's, like, it was just the condensed mineral, like, in them, and it was gonna just, I don't know, like, he was told as a child that, like, he was gonna live to like 15 maybe. But then his whole island was like burned to the ground because people were worried, like outside of the island were worried that it would be contagious. But it was like, no, it's not a sickness in that sense. It's just because we were exposed to this thing and no one can really find a cure for it yet. Anyway, so it's like he is the only one who escaped his island, and he later on ran into a person who really wanted to help cure him and knew about the Operation Fruit. And
what are you doing?
I'm just making fruit.
Why did you cover the fruit? Now what are you doing with it?
The ball in the center right there is a magnet, and I don't really need that ball later on, but it's just that I can move all these little components around in the shape of a ball.
Okay.
Because it's all just like teensy little flames. It's the whole fruit, but it's just a lot of little pieces of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the rubber fruit and the operation fruit, those were much easier because they are just solid things. All I have to do is sculpt those and draw little designs on them. But this one was kind of irritating because it's like, okay, I gotta sculpt this teensy little flame and then position all of these in a big sphere. Ugh. Okay,
everyone was sick on the island with the white spots.
Yeah, so he got off and then later on ran into a person who helped him procure the operation fruit because it was like, with your knowledge, you can figure out how to like extract the mineral from your body and all that stuff. But it was really sad because this person became really significant to him. This fella helped him get this fruit at the cost of his own life. The guy was shot and Law had just eaten the fruit.
She's crying, guys.
I know, like, this is the time to make my emotional speech. Is this when you would have
cried in the show?
Yeah, I definitely cried.
Oh my gosh.
I definitely cried. Yeah, I remember I was watching this. It was like senior year of college, and it was when I was sharing a room with Emma, and I remember I was watching it at like 1 a.m. or something like that, and just like trying to cry really quietly because like Emma was asleep. I didn't want her to wake up and think I'm weird. So like it was such a sad moment. So like spoilers, it's like a heist. So it's like his father figure at that point gets the fruit, but he gets shot in the meantime. And then there's like a whole thing where it's like the people who had the fruit realize it's missing, so they're like gonna lock down the whole island. And the fella, he goes to Law, he gets him to eat the fruit, sorted, and Law is like, oh my gosh, you're dying though, like I can fix you, I just ate this fruit, like I can cure you. And the guy he's already laughing, like he's already at peace with it, because it's like, you just ate the fruit, like you don't know how it works yet, you can't save me. So it's like he's just at peace with dying. And then he stows Law in like a big trunk so that he can get off of the island without the people who were looking for him being aware of it. Gosh, and like something about this fella is like he had eaten a special fruit that gave him the power to like mute the environment around him or a person if he touches them. And it's like Law is beside himself crying because this is a super important person to him now. The dude just like touches Law and then runs off to distract the people who would be looking for Law. And Law is like crying his heart out, but no one can hear because of the guy's power. Do you have questions about One Piece in light of all of that new information?
I liked what you told me. Just tell me other things.
Okay. Now that I have my like sick but sounding emotional voice on, I may as well talk about other moments that made me cry in One Piece. There was this part when we meet Chopper, the doctor of their group, and we were seeing his backstory, and it's like he's a reindeer.
I have a dad. That is dead.
So he's a reindeer, but it's like he had a blue nose or something. So it's kind of like, I think it was trying to be like an homage to Rudolph. None of his community wanted him around because he had this, what they thought was a defect. And so he was kind of excluded. Then he came across the devil fruit. It was the human fruit. So he could transform into like kind of humanish forms. And so he thought like, okay, if I don't have a community with all my reindeer, then I can at least be in a community with like humans. And he goes out and he like tries to do that, but he just looks like Bigfoot or something. Like he's not human enough. Like he's still a reindeer looking human. So it's like everyone was scared. And so it's like this one doctor among them who was also kind of an outcast in the community but like didn't really mind, he like took him in, adopted him, like this is my reindeer son basically, and like taught him everything he knew. And but it's like this doctor guy, he had a terminal sickness, and like he was able to stick around for a good while, like maybe a few years, I don't know how long the flashback lasted. At a certain point he knows he's gonna so that's Luffy's. Yeah, then the doctor guy, he realizes he's gonna die soon. This is too much to get into. Pause. So because of the way I did the UVs, this model looks really strange in Substance Painter, but it renders just fine. So, like, don't stress out about how, I don't know, they're kind of like oddly placed shadows. Those are not part of the actual textures. So, just rest assured. Anyway, so this doctor fella, he takes a poison, and then he like makes sure that Chopper is, ta-da! Oh my gosh, I forget that the texturing doesn't take very long. Anyway, whatever. He just goes on like a suicide mission essentially, and the government on their island is kind of corrupt, and so he goes and kind of confronts them in a way because he knows he's gonna die. So it's like even if they try to execute him, it doesn't matter. While he's talking to, like, it's a weird part that would make me cry because it's not characters I care about because Chopper's not even really in it. But it's like this random doctor guy is just talking about how like there can be a cure for anything, like even a corrupt government, and one of the people in that government is like actually pretty chill, and like I don't know, he's already crying, and it's like when I see this random like totally random character cry, I'm like, you got me. I'll cry too. But it's like when I was going back and rewatching some episodes recently, I rewatched that and I'm like, if I don't have enough build up to this part, I don't think I can cry again. But it's like, no. Like I think I was on the treadmill. Aww. And I saw the part was coming. I'm like, no, I'm already getting teary. This thing is gonna finish before we can even get to the Spy Family questions.
You'll just have to come back and watch us next time, guys.
But next week I wanted to ask you all these OC questions.
Save that. That
the
was
heart.
it. And the doctor law.
Yeah.
Yes. I pay attention.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. See you next Monday.
See you next time. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.
Burp.